good evening, everybody. Um, this is Daniel, who will I be the president of AIM Global University talking. With today's session is a discussion as to why we are going to be put into research as a club and why it is very important for AMR, you know, as advocacy and as public health in general. So this particular session is supposed to bring us up, help us understand better how to approach search and what is ahead of us. So right away, because of our time, I will introduce the speaker, especially on this Godwin Files, he moves, who has been, who was our mentor, has been our mentor and since the outset of our mentorship program at the club. And thanks to him, bringing lots of productivity in work we do. And there's a lot to say about him. All right, but please, because of our time, we'll welcome our speaker right away for this session. Please, we appreciate him.
First off, I want to say I'm very, very grateful for the privilege to be invited again to join this great club, the Antimicrobial Resistance Club of Babcock University, to engage us in another very interesting conversation that I feel will spur us not to just be members of the AMR club of this university, but at the same time to become interested persons in the field of research. You want to do research, you want to contribute to knowledge, you want to make your voice heard, and you want to actually get information across to policymakers, and at the same time, you want to influence policy. So this evening, I've been asked to speak to us on the topic that you can see on your screen, the importance of research, why it matters, and how to incorporate it into our schedules. That is what we are going to focus on very quickly this evening. Then to start with, I would like us to quickly look at some of the comments that some legends, I call them legend because they have done amazing work. They have made impact in different fields. So let's quickly hear what some legends have to say, and by legend, I mean great and incredible researchers in different walks of life who have actually written their name in the sands of time. So what did they say about research, and how can this actually serve as a motivation for a conversation this evening? So the first person I want to talk about is a man that we all know is very, very popular, and that is Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein once said, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. Education is not the learning of facts alone. Our primary, secondary, and undergraduate education must have been all about learning of facts, understanding works done by individuals in time past. But that is not what education is all about. He said that education is about training the mind to be able to think. And when we talk about thinking here, we are talking about the ability for you to engage yourself and to engage yourself in critical thought process. You are trying to analyze, you are trying to prospect, you are trying to investigate. You just want to answer the question, why? And you are just exercising your level of curiosity in all of these things. So according to Einstein, education is not the learning of fact, but rather it is more about the training of your mind to be able to think independently. That is what Einstein considers to be education. Then another person that I want us to listen to is the man called Louis Pasteur. And according to him, he said, science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity, and knowledge is the torch which illuminates the world. Science does not belong to any particular country. Another thing that I would like us to also pay the attention to are the words of the first man to land on the moon, and that is Neil Armstrong. And Neil actually said, in much of society, research means to investigate something that you do not know or understand. In our society, research endeavor or any research pursuit is all about trying to investigate something that you do not know and something that you do not understand. This is what research is all about. Then the last person that I would like us to actually listen to is a man called Charles Charles Kettering, and Charles said, research means that you do not know, but you are willing to find out. There are a couple of stuff that you do not know, and there are a couple of stuff that you really want to find out, that you really want to discover. And as such, you just want to engage your mental, you want to engage your critical thinking process in trying to answer the question why. Why are stuff the way they are? Why is this the way it is? And why do people behave the way they behave? How does disease emerge, and how do they spread? From individuals to individuals, from individuals to animal, from animals to individuals, and all of that. So research means that you do not know something, there's something that you are not much enlightened about, and you really want to find out what is the reason behind the existence or the occurrence of that particular situation or that particular stuff, and then you embark on a research. So when we talk about research, we're talking about, engaging yourself in intellectual curiosity. You just want to feed your thirst of curiosity. You want to learn, you want to unlearn, you want to challenge yourself, you want to become better at what is in front of you, and you really want to find solutions to those questions. And very honestly, research is all about asking questions. Why do how do babies form in the mother's womb? What is it that determines the sex of the baby? How does disease emerge? How do we come about antimicrobial resistance? How is it that drugs that were originally designed to kill or to inhibit the growth and the development of bacteria or disease causing organisms is no longer effective in killing or in inhibiting these particular disease organisms? These questions actually are what can actually lead one to do research. So now to the question before us this evening, what exactly is this thing called research? Why should I be concerned about it? And, there's no way you can be concerned about research when you don't even know what research is in the first place. So there are lots of definition on the subject matter of research, but I just want us to understand that the word research itself is a combination of two major words. The first one is which is a prefix. And as a prefix, when you see the word it means to do again. And then the next word there is search. To search means to investigate or to look for. So if you combine and search together, you have research. And if you combine them carefully, you get to understand that research is an investigation or an outlook for something that spikes your curiosity, something that you really want to know more about. Probably the reason we have the there means that probably this particular issue must already be known to the community, but you want to dig it further. You want to dig in deep to better understand why this particular stuff occurs or exists the way it does. That is what research is all about. To put it clearly to us this evening, research is a systematic process of critical inquiry leading to a valid proposition and conclusion that are common to others. Okay? You want to actually make a proposition, or perhaps you want to propound a theory on your end or something. That is what research is all about. Or you want to draw conclusion. And sometimes your proposition or your conclusion might be common to others, or it might be something that people are not already aware of, or it might be something that is going to actually disrupt already held beliefs, already held laws and principles and all of that. That is what research is. It is systematic in the sense that it is a step-by-step process, of critical inquiry, critical thinking that leads to a valid proposition and a conclusion. If it is common to others, fine. If it is not common to others, it is okay. But what matters most is that it is a step-by-step process of critical inquiry that leads to the bringing into existence of a proposition or a very wonderful conclusion that you as an individual must have drawn in your work. Another definition of research is that it is a studious inquiry. It is studious in the sense that you have to sit down and think critically on a piece of paper. Perhaps you have to consult already published work or work that have been cited or written by individuals years past. Okay, it's a studious inquiry. It is an examination. You want to examine what people have done, how they did it, and then you also want to investigate or you want to experiment on what they have done. Okay, somebody said this and this. If you add 2 molecules of hydrogen to oxygen, or 2 molecules of, or if you add hydrogen and oxygen together, you have water. How possible is that? Is it actually true? Is it actually true, or is just a mere statement? So you want to actually examine what they have done. You want to further investigate what they have done, or you want to further experiment on what they have done. And the aim of this exercise of yours is to discover, okay, is the discovery and interpretation of facts. You want to discover more facts, or you want to interpret more facts, or better still, you want to, bring about a revision of accepted theories or laws in the light of new discovery that you must have made out of your studious inquiry. Or probably you want to bring about practical application of such new or revised theories or law in your own environment. So when you put all of these things together, you have what is called research. People must have done it before, but you want to do it again. And you're doing it again because you are very, very curious. You want to answer the question, why? Why does stuff like this actually happen? Why is it that initially when you are down with the malaria parasite, or perhaps you get bitten by the female Anopheles mosquito and you come down with malaria, initially when you take an anti-malaria drug, let's say Coartem or Artemata or something, you get well. But why is it that somebody who is down with malaria at the moment will take Coartem, but yet there's not going to be any improvement? That is the issue we are talking about here. You want to actually look at it again. What is the problem? Of course, the use of Coartem and Artemata to treat malaria came as a result of research work that were done by individuals. The research is already there, and the research shows that the use of Coartem can actually help to flush out malaria plasmodium parasites in the bloodstream of an individual. But now somebody is being given the same anti-malaria drug, but there is no significant result. What is the problem? Why is it the way it is? So you want to carry out a studious inquiry, you want to examine, you want to investigate, you want to experiment, and in the course of doing this, you want to discover, probably you want to bring about better interpretation of already established facts, or you want to bring about a revision of accepted theories or laws. And you are doing all of this in the light of the new fact, in the light of the new discovery that you have made. And probably you want to talk about practical application of such new or revised theories or law in whatever sphere of life that your area of calling actually might be. So this is what research is. Do it again, to investigate or to look out for. Now we move on straight to simplest definition of what a research actually is. According to me, research is the gathering of data, information, and fact for the advancement of knowledge. Simply put, all of these jargons that I've been talking about, since you started this meeting, research, when you say you are doing research, it simply means that you are gathering data, you are gathering information, you are gathering facts. Okay, and the essence of all of these things that you're doing is that you want to advance knowledge, you want to push forth, you want to improve knowledge. Probably there are new discoveries that you want to add to what is already in existence, or perhaps you want to bring into existence newly minted information for the benefit of individuals, to help improve life and to help cut down on the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistance in different settings. That is what research is all about. Now, what are the characteristics? What are the major features of research that every one of us should be mindful of? Okay, there are a couple of properties, or there are a couple of features of research that I'll share with us this evening. My list is not exhaustive, as I believe that there are 1,001 features or 1,001 characteristics of a well-detailed research. However, I want you to know that research most times can be empirical. And when we say you are carrying out empirical research, it means that you are trying to carry out a research that uses the 5 senses. You want to, what can you see with your eyes? What can you smell with your nose? What can you, hear with your ears? What can you feel? What can you feel with your skin and all of that? So it's more like you are trying to observe. You are trying to, to look around you and to see stuff. Why stuff actually happen? Why do we have an outbreak of cholera in a particular location? and then you just go there, you try to observe, you try to look at how they handle waste, how waste is being properly managed. Do the people in the community practice open defecation? Do they adhere to hand hygiene and all of that? The water system that the people in the community are drinking, is it clean? Is it hygiene? Is it hygienic enough? So these are empirical studies or empirical research. You are doing a research by just using the five senses, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your skin, and what you can feel and what you can hear and all of that. So that is a major feature of a research. That research could be what? Empirical. Then after empirical research, there's also what we call systematic research. This one is very, very scientific. This one is very principled, and it follows laid down step-by-step method. In this one, you might want to collect blood sample. You might want to go and culture the blood sample in the lab. You might want to incubate, probably in of course, in an incubator for a couple of hours. You might want to think of the best media to grow, to culture, whether you are going to use agar or you are going to use a broth or something. So systematic research is very, very principled. It follows step by step laid down method that an individual can follow, to find out to get some facts and to get some evidence, or to generate some information. That is called systematic research. Then there's what we call a major and a fundamental characteristics of research, is that your research must be replicable. That is reproducibility. If you do a research, for example, if Chiamaka does a research in Babcock University, for instance, can someone at the University of Port Harcourt in Nigeria replicate the same research and get the same result if they follow the protocol, if they follow the method that Chiamaka used in carrying out her own research? So if you do a research in Babcock and somebody somewhere else cannot replicate the same research and get the same result by using your method or your protocol, then it means that your research actually lacks a very, very vital core element of research, which is called reproducibility. It cannot be reproduced. It is not replicable, and that is a shame. So the results that you found are bound to be the same if done using the same model, if done using the same method and principle that you actually carried out in the course of doing your research. And then finally, a fundamental, like you cannot negotiate this one. This one is not negotiable, right? Your research must be original. It must be your original work, the product of your sweat, the product of your labor, the product of your critical thinking, sleepless nights, burning the midnight oil and all of that. You just want to bring into existence new knowledge that is original. You don't want to go and recycle what somebody has done before. And even if you have to write a review, or if you want to carry out another research on what somebody has done, you want to do it because you want to get some new information. You don't want to go do something that has been done or that has been covered in time past or in years past and all of that. That is just a precious waste of your time. So your research must be original. It must be original. It must be yours, and it must be, a very nice inquiry that actually bring into existence information and evidences and data that can help make our life better. So what are the purpose of research? Why do we do research in the first place? Do you just do research for doing research, or you do research because you want to actually address a particular issue? There are lots and lots of reasons why people do research. But tonight, I want to share with us a couple of reasons that I feel will be very beneficial to us. People do research because they just want to explore. They do it because they want to explore. And this type of research investigate an area or an issue on which little or previous work has been carried out. There's not much of evidence to support the claim of this scholar, of this researcher. So Emmanuel can decide to carry out an exploratory research on this particular claim, this assertion, this proposition of this scholar, and then you want to generate more evidence. So that is called an exploratory research. You are doing it because you want to explore, you want to investigate an area or an issue which does not have enough evidence, who does not have lots of publications on that area, blah, blah, blah. That is, a purpose of research. Number two, I want to speculate. You just want to speculate. Research of this nature might speculate as to what these implications might be and develop a program of inquiry that can inform future responses to this issue. Probably you don't have facts at the moment, but probably you just decide that there is something wrong. I have seen with my eyes, I have felt with my skin, I have heard it with my ears, and I've been to the environment. And I think that the reason this community is down with a cholera outbreak is because of the poor water system that they have. Probably their water system is not clean, or they practice open defecation, or they have a poor waste management system. You can write a research, you can get some qualitative data to speculate on this, and then other individuals, other researchers can then decide to carry on, to do much more, either qualitative or analytical research to prove that what Mr. ABC said in this research work of his, in this publication of his, actually is valid. So that is speculative. Then you can also do descriptive. It aims to gather information that illuminates relationships, patterns, and links. This kind of study actually aims to gather information. You want to gather facts. You want to gather evidence. You want to generate evidence, okay? And then the essence of this work that you are doing is that you want to illuminate on the relationship. What is the relationship that exists between, disease disease in animal, disease in human health, and disease in the environment? What is the interface? How does disease in these three areas interface together? So if you carry out a study, for example, and you discover that probably infections that were only prone to be human only infection are now found in animal, becoming a zoonotic disease, or the one that are found in animal and moving from the animal to the human beings, and the ones that were peculiar to be in the environment alone now are now found in animal, and vice versa. You want to, carry out a descriptive study, to establish and to illuminate and to shed more light on the relationships, on the patterns, on the prevalence, and on the links that exist between this particular issue. That is called a descriptive, study, or you are carrying out a descriptive research. If you just want to describe what is going on at the moment, you want to establish the pattern, and the prevalence of that particular disease condition. Then explanatory. It aims to show why relationship, why patterns and link actually occur. And then finally, another one that I feel we might also want to be aware of is predictive, and then at the same time evaluative. So it's up to you. Your purpose of doing research can be either, or it can be all of this if you really want to. Maybe you want to explore, you want to speculate, you want to describe, you want to explain, or you want to predict, or you want to evaluate the causes of the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistant gene in aquaculture or in poultry farms or something. So these are the wonderful purpose of research, and I feel, you should be concerned about it. So the next question for us is, why does research matter? Why does research matter? Does it actually count? Do I really need to do research as an undergraduate, or as a medical student, or as a member of the antimicrobial resistance club of Babcock University? Or I can just sit down, fold my arms, and then, be at the receiving end? Ladies and gentlemen, there are lots and lots of reasons as per, why research actually matters. Number one, research drives innovation and solution, especially in the field of antimicrobial resistance. It drives innovation and it brings into existence solutions. There are lots of issues at the moment. The last time that I spoke to you guys, I told you that very recently there is a study that was done in Nigeria, and the study shows that babies who are born today, like newly born babies, are now resistant to cholesterol. And study shows that neither the baby nor the mother actually took a single dose of cholesterol. But why are they resistant? So when you do this kind of research, it helps you to generate evidence. you generate data and information, and this data and information can actually help you to drive innovation and to provide solutions to issues that are occurring in the environment. So you might feel it doesn't concern you, or what is going on at the moment is none of your business. But the truth of the matter is that for a newborn baby to come down with a cholesterol resistance, given the fact that the baby has not even taken a single dose of cholesterol in the baby's existence, is a thing of concern for each and every one of us. Because for a baby who was recently giving birth to be resistant to cholesterol, having not even taken a single dose of cholesterol in the baby's existence is a threat to the existence of man on the surface of the earth. Because cholesterol is like the last line of antibiotics. We have lots and lots of categories of antibiotics, the narrow spectrum, the broad spectrum, and all of that. And there are antibiotics that are antibiotics of last resort. These antibiotics are drugs that are given to patients who are down with diseases, that down with infection that is resistant to all the available probably secondary line and primary line of antibiotics. This patient is resistant to all of them. And now they have to try out the use of colistin, the last line of antibiotics. And woe betide us, woe betide the individual or the patient who is now resistant to the last line of antibiotics. It means that death is looming ahead for such an individual, and there is absolutely nothing that anybody can do. Patients, we know, is just going to die. Families will be heartbroken. There'll be longer days in the hospital. Lots of money will be spent. Our hospital facilities will be greatly stressed, and man, is quite a challenge. So when we do research helps us to drive innovation and to bring solution into existence, especially in the area of antimicrobial resistance. Then number two, research actually helps inform evidence-based decision. Now that we talk about antimicrobial resistance, we are doing awareness creation. We are trying to profile mitigation strategies as per how to cut down on the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistant genes in different settings. Do you have evidence? Do you have evidence to support that your initiative or your idea is going to work? Do you have any, have you tried it before? Has it been done anywhere before, or you are just speculating? In science, we don't just say things. We want to say things, and we want to say things backed up with evidence. And the only way you can generate evidence, the only way you can have proof to back up your claim is when you decide to do research. So research inform evidence-based decision. Perhaps you want to propose a policy change to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, for instance. What do you do? How do you approach perhaps the director of antimicrobial resistance unit of NCDC? What facts do you have? What evidence do you have? Have you done something in the form of a pilot study or something, or you just feel that by just writing words, it will be enough to influence a decision? It won't. It is research that gives you evidence, and that evidence is what you propose, is what you submit to help the government of the day, our health institutions, and researchers out there to make sound and intelligent decision, evidence-based decision that will help to curb the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistant genes in different settings. Number three, research actually helps you to build credibility and professional growth. You can't say you are a medical student, you are an undergraduate of the university, and all you are doing is to keep recycling already existing knowledge that have been in existence since 1900, and you keep studying this, and you spend 4 years there, and you graduate, and they give you your degree, and they say by the authority of the Senate, these individuals have now been certified worthy in character and in learning, and they give you what they call Bachelor of Science in this one, or Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of what, and you say you are now a graduate. The question is, what contribution have you made to knowledge? What new idea did you do? How did you promote good science? What were your added value in the course of your 4 years of study in the university? How do you even, how are we even sure that you are credible? Like your professional trajectory, what does it look like? right now as an individual or as a recent graduate. So when you do research gives you the ability for you to build your credibility that this person is a person of authority, this person is a person that is worth being listened to, this person is somebody that is not just speaking based on mercy, is somebody that has taken time to commit him or herself to critical thinking, to in-depth of analysis, and the person has brought into existence new evidence, new fact, new information, to help make life better. So your credibility can only be built, your professional growth can only come into existence come into reality when you commit to do research. Every year, our country, Nigeria, will graduate thousands and thousands and millions of graduates from our institutions of higher learning. How many of them are actually research inclined? In fact, the only time that most of us will ever do research is in our final year project. Probably, and it some persons don't even do the research at all. Probably they sublet the research to someone will write it for them, someone will do the lab work for them, someone will do the analysis for them, and they just go and defend and they get a BSc or a BNG or an MA or BA or something, and they say they are graduates. We really have to become intentional about getting involved in research, because your credibility and professional growth hinges on the level of research that you've been doing. Next, research help improve lives and shape policies. Research help improve life and shape policy. At the moment, if collective action is not taken, between 2025 and 2050, we could have a whooping sum of 10 million deaths due to, or attributable to, or associated with antimicrobial resistance. 10 million deaths. Ladies and gentlemen, 10 million deaths. This is not a figure of chicken or flies or mosquito that I'm talking about. I'm talking about lives of our brothers and sisters that must have gone down the line because they came down with an infection and no drug is able to give them health, is able to help them get well. 10 million. 10 million deaths. It is a thing of great concern, and I feel it's something that every one of us on this call should share that sentiment, that feel that pain, that there's somebody right now at Babcock Teaching Hospital or in UPTH or in BMH or in Luth somewhere, and the person is dying, like the person is on life support machine, and doctors are doing their best to make sure that they give this guy health, but it is not possible. It is not the body of the person that is resistant to the drug that are giving him. It is the bacteria that are responsible for that illness that have developed resistance to the potent effect of that drug. And the drug is not going to work. And if the drug does not work, then that patient is going to die. Do you have to wait until it happens to you before you take research serious? Do you have to wait until it happens to your loved ones before you get on your feet and get on your table and start asking question? Why does it happen like this? What can we do? What solutions can we profile? What alternative measures can be ensured? How can I reach out to poultry farmers in the rural areas who are very, very intentional about profit, and they are very concerned about profit, and they want to make profit at the expense of the health of their fellow human beings? They abuse antibiotics. They feed the birds with high dose of antibiotics. How will you just sit down and say it doesn't concern me? I feel you don't have to wait until it happens to you before you start taking action, because if you abuse antibiotics there, and there's a farmer in the rural area who is abusing antibiotics, and there's a cattle rearer somewhere in the village who is feeding the cattle with antiretroviral drugs that are meant for human beings who are down with HIV/AIDS, and is giving those drugs to the cattle to make them to get fat, even when it's not supposed to be. That person is endangering the life of every one of us. And that is why we have to actually come together and look at how we can address antimicrobial resistance from the standpoint of one health, that the life of animals, the life of man, and the life of the environment is very, very important. And we have to actually work together along the interface to make sure that what happens to one actually is prevented from happening to the other person. So on the screen, you can see from PubMed, this is the first, it's not, I don't see this as a research work, but this is the first paper that I ever published in my life. Like, I did it on my own, and I called it Starved of Action, a critical look at the antimicrobial resistant action plan of African countries. And this particular paper, I took my time to vent my frustration, to vent my concern as per what the 54 African countries or 55 African countries are actually doing as per National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance. On this continent, we are very good at producing paper. But the question is, are these papers backed up with action, or these papers or this wonderful document that we call national action plans, they are starved of action? I concluded that it is not enough. It's not enough for us to have a very beautifully written national action plan on antimicrobial resistance. If there are no action behind this action plan, then it is as good as not having an action plan in the first place. If there are no enforcement, if there are no rules and regulations to punish and to enforce the laws that have been made, people will continue to infringe on these laws. They will continue to break the laws and to abuse antibiotics in different settings. So, ladies and gentlemen, I did this in 2022, and it is still there. Individuals are going to read it, and I have gotten some number of citations from this work that I did right from my house as a recent graduate. So I want to encourage every one of us, take research seriously. You don't need everybody, because I couldn't find people who share the same sentiment with me. I have to submit this stuff and publish it alone as an individual. That's why you see my name there, alone. But as I continue to grow, I've come to discover that I can collaborate with individuals, I can network with other researchers and get them on board, and we can work together. We can write stuff together. And the more you write, the more credible you come across, and the more you are contributing to knowledge. So you are not just a consumer of already existing knowledge, you are also contributing to knowledge that people might actually use to make sound and intelligent decisions. Let's look at real world context, as per AMR, and why research actually matters in this particular field. Research, as I see it, has helped to identify resistant strains of bacteria. If not for research, none of us will know that we have newborn babies who have never tasted colistin before can become resistant to the potent effect of colistin. Neither the mother nor the baby have tasted it before, but studies have shown that it is because of the abuse of this last line of antibiotics in agricultural practice. This mother and the baby are now unintentionally resistant to the potent effect of colistin. Research informed drugs development and policy. Your contribution could save lives by influencing practices and by influencing policy. The only way you can influence practices, the only way you can influence issues that happens in our health sector is when you become intentional about doing research. My dear colleagues, if we don't do research, if we just sit down and feel we can just keep studying what somebody has done in time past, and we just feel that that is all that there is to be done, that is not enough. Like, that is absolutely not enough. You don't want to spend 4 years in the university and you just exit, and that is all. What are you known for, Emmanuel? What are you known for, Chiamaka? What can we look back at and say Emmanuel and Samuel, they collaborated together and they brought this particular work into existence? They generated data, evidence, and facts, and they are trying to use this evidence and facts of theirs to influence the Ogun State Ministry of Health, Ogun State Ministry of Education, to make sound and intelligent decisions. What have you done? What have I done? What have we done as individuals? We just can't sit down and fold our hands. Now, I just want to answer the question why every one of us should take research seriously. Why every one of us should take research seriously. Research actually helps you as an individual to develop critical thinking and analytical skill. Can you think critically? Can you analyze? Can you look at a piece of data and be able to deduce like to make inference and to make deduction, to make sound and intelligent, comment from the data in front of you. That is what research does for you as a student. So it's not enough for you to just go to school and you get your degree. How developed are you in the area of critical thinking and ability for you to make sound analytical, comments or statements or proposition and all of that. Research actually makes you to stand out academically and professionally. If you want to stand out, academically and professionally, I encourage you, take research seriously. Take research very, very, very seriously. It gives me joy the other time after I worked with a colleague, a team of 6 individuals, professionals in different areas, in AMR, in vet medicine and all of that. And we came together to publish a viewpoint. And in that viewpoint, we are trying to look at how education, advocacy, and collective action is a sustainable solution to the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistance in different settings. I was amazed when somebody that I don't know came on LinkedIn and made a very wonderful statement about that particular publication. In that particular publication, my colleagues and I, we tried to actually draw the attention of the World Health Organization and other health institutions all over the world to look at the impact and like to leverage on the capacity of families and religious institutions to help in the to help in curbing the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistance in different settings. I feel that we have unconsciously allowed these wonderful institutions to just stand and observe what is going on. Nobody is looking at that area at all. And I felt so touched when he came on board and he made that sound and intelligent comment about the work that we did. So I feel that you as an individual too, you can actually do something. This is what makes you stand out academically and professionally. I feel it is joyful if I'm writing a paper now and then I cite the work done by Amarachi or the work done by Samuel or the work done by AGK or something, and then I said AGK et al. So and so date. They said this. It makes you to become a person of authority. Number 3, taking research seriously opens doors to scholarship, to grants, and to career opportunities. If you want to apply for a grant, for instance, or if you want to apply for maybe a PhD or an MSc in a research lab or in another institution outside the country or anywhere in the world, you have a competitive edge if you add the links to papers that you have published, to research work that you have done. By so doing, you are telling your potential supervisor that I'm not coming to start from the scratch. I already know how to write a research paper. I already know how to think critically. I already know how to do analysis. I already have this competence. And these competencies have helped me to publish papers in high impact factor journals. It sets you apart. And then finally, research empowers you to contribute to your field. If you're a medical student, what contribution are you going to make in your field? Or you just want to graduate, to go and treat patients, and that is all? No. What contribution are you making to the field? The Hippocratic oath that you took, that you are going to contribute to knowledge. What are you contributing to knowledge? Are you even contributing 0.001% and you are consuming 99.8% of already available knowledge? So these are stuff that I feel should challenge you as an individual, to take research very, very seriously. Then, how do you start doing research as a student? That was a question that your colleague actually said I should answer in the course of our presentation. How do you start doing research, as a student? There are a couple of ways. Number 1, I feel that you should think of an area that interests you. For me, there is nothing that gives me joy like becoming a figure of respect in the field of antimicrobial resistance. I really want to be part of the solution, that little children who are just giving birth to will not just die of resistant bacterial infection. I just want to be part of the solution. That is an area that interests me. And that is an area that I'm very, very passionate about. I want to raise awareness. I want to help family members and religious institutions to understand that collectively we can be enlightened on how to use antimicrobials prudently, and it can help to cut down on the forecasted 10 million deaths that we are likely to record between 2025 and 2050 if nothing is done. If nothing is done, ladies and gentlemen, if nothing is done, and nothing being done is that if you who are members of the Antimicrobial Resistance Club or Babcock University, you sit down and you refuse to do research. You sit down and you are like you are sitting on data that you can use to influence policy and to make sound and intelligent decisions. Then those people are going to die. And who knows? It might be you. It might be me. Join the faculty members project. It will go a long way in helping you as an individual. Probably you can choose to actually work with somebody. You can choose to actually meet with somebody and collaborate with somebody. It will go a long way. If your professor is doing a research work, you can choose to help. You can choose to work for them as a research assistant. Help them to gather data. Help them in the writing. All of these things are skills you are developing yourself as an individual. Then you can choose to start with a literature review or do a case study. You can also choose to actually write a viewpoint. You can choose to write, a perspective on an issue or something. There's something that my colleagues and I are working on at the moment. I was in the UK, I think in the month of March, for the British Society of Antimicrobial Chemotherapy workshop in Birmingham. And the knowledge that was shared there were so powerful. And we felt that we cannot just allow this information to just lie. So we are going to come together as a team, to write, a perspective and publish the perspective to help the career researchers to understand the ins and outs of academic publishing. That is also an aspect of being of an added value as well to your profession and to the society as well. So you can start with that, and then you can choose to use your class project to ask deeper questions. I use my own undergraduate research work to improve myself. My final year research work was on the antimicrobial effect of the leaf extract of Jatropha tangerensis on multi-drug resistant bacteria isolated from poultry dropping. The essence of that research was to see if the leaf extract of this plant could serve as a close alternative to synthetic antibiotics used in poultry farms. And I've been building on that. In fact, that is how I came into this sphere of antimicrobial resistance. And it was the findings, the outcome of that investigation that helped me to understand that, Pius, you can't just sit down and fold your arms and allow things to go the way it is going. You have to become a part of the solution by helping farmers, family members, and religious institutions to understand the dangers of abuse of antimicrobials in agriculture, in aquaculture, in the environment, and even in the human health. This is your class project. Every one of us here will have a project that we are going to do at the end. Don't just do the project and then you end it as a hard copy that they are going to throw away subsequently. Do something great out of it. How do you incorporate research into your schedule? Of course, I know everybody is busy. We are all running around the clock trying to meet ends meet. You can set aside weekly research hours of, I don't know how many hours you have, but I know that every human being on the surface of the earth has 24 hours a day. Of the 24 hours a day, is it possible for you to set aside 1 hour a day? Or if you multiply 24 by 7, can you set aside 3 hours a week? And you say, these 3 hours, I'm blocking it for research purpose. I want to sit down and think. I want to review what others have done, and I want to see what knowledge I can bring into existence. So you can set aside weekly research hours, and it will help you to start thinking. Sometimes you might just want to reach out on LinkedIn to professors who are doing amazing research in your area of interest and ask them if there's any area that you can be of support or of assistance to them. By so doing, you see your name as a co-author in their publications and all of that. It can help you. Then use your semester break very, very wisely. Subsequently, or I don't know, maybe already you guys are on Easter break or something. Use the break very well. You can decide to set aside 2 or 3 days of the break time, to do research. Like In fact, you can even choose to do empirical studies. Observe with your eyes, observe with your ears, walk around, walk around, and you get to see stuff. And you can put up a publication with those information. And by so doing, you give other scientists the leverage for them to be able to build on what you have done. Start with manageable tasks. At least you can choose to do 1 hour reading session on research on area that interest you. And then finally, collaboration is key. Don't wait. Take that responsibility. Make the move. Send the code email to professors in your school, to other schools that are doing greatly well in AMR, and ask them if they are willing to collaborate with you on this. It will help you to build yourself and to become a respected figure in your field. Research doesn't have to be done alone. It doesn't have to be done in silos. You can do it with colleagues, with friends and associates and acquaintances, even without having to see them one-on-one. The truth of the matter is that the research is done with full adherence to ethics, and that you are honest and truthful with the information that you are bringing to the scientific community. Now, there are a couple of tools that I feel can actually be of help to you in your quest to becoming a researcher. There are reference managers like Mendeley. Mendeley can help you to manage your references very, very well, because this is an area that most early career researchers, they struggle with. You don't know how to reference paper. You don't know how to use the upper style citation and all of that. Mendeley or Zetero can help you to do this very, very well. Google Scholar Alerts. You can choose to set up a Google Scholar Alerts, on topics of interest for yourself. Perhaps if you're interested in AMR, you can set up a Google Scholar Alert to let you know if there is any conversation that is ongoing about AMR, or about AMR in pediatric unit, AMR in poultry farms, AMR in piggery, in cattle pens, and even in goatry and all of that. So these things will help you. And then you can choose to join academic communities like ResearchGate. By now, every one of you should have an account on ResearchGate. You should have an account on Google Scholar. Start by just most, even if it is one paper that you have, you can choose to just put it up there and you start building yourself. It's an opportunity for you to be visible on the international network. And finally, stay curious. Stay curious. Stay curious and take notes on what excites you. Stay curious and take note and ask questions on what excites you. What is that thing that makes your heart to sing? It goes a long way in helping you to become a researcher in any field of your choice. To close, I like to say that research is not for others. It's not for research is not a native of the UK. It's not a native of America. It's not a native of France. Research can be done by anybody, and research is for you, my dear colleagues. And I'm just encouraging you, please don't wait for the perfect time to start. Start now. I told you guys initially during the mentorship phase of our program, I told you guys that you guys are sitting on data. Event you organize, pass a survey around, gather information, analyze that information, and put something out there for the scientific community to be aware of. And finally, your unique voice and your perspective matters in research. Your unique voice and your perspective matters in research. I'm saying it again, your unique voice. I'm not asking you to go and copy and paste what someone else has done. I'm asking you to see research as an opportunity for you to get your unique voice across to members of the scientific community. It matters. And by so doing, we'll be able to help up the rise and spread of antimicrobial resistance in different settings. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've been able to challenge you a little bit and to fan aflame your interest, to come into the field of research. It's a very busy environment. It's very rigorous, but I know that you are capable. You can do it. And the world is willing and ready, to listen to you. I want to thank you so very much for having me. It's been an amazing time, and I look forward to doing this again and again whenever you call on me. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening. If you have questions, you can ask. I'll be able to take your question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Pius. We really appreciate. And as I said, if you have a question, feel free to ask now. If you have any questions to ask Mr. Pius, feel free to ask now. You can signify by raising up your hands or omitting yourself to ask a question. Brother, do you have a question? Okay, so if we don't have any question, Mr. Pius, like I said before, thank you so much um for today's meeting. I really learned a lot from the beginning, from the inspiration on how we should start. I really learned a lot because um I'm really inspired by what you said, and I know that a lot of us are also inspired by the teaching of today. We would love to have you when next we're having a meeting as well. And I don't know if anybody has anything to add or anybody has anything to say. Mr. Emmanuel, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Pius, for the very beautiful session. You took your time to take us through the course of the reason and the essence of this AMR and how it also affects and prepares us as undergraduates for the career ahead. Thank you so much, sir. Also, the integrity of going through the process and not just giving our papers to people to do for us, which is very important. As a club as well, we also try our best to ensure that we experience being part of research because, like you've highlighted, it's a very important journey and it's also increase our relevance and value in the society, especially in our a career basically. And I believe that many that have been able to listen to all this evening will be taking very good steps. So also to give you as a mentor, to give you a let's say a report of what we've done so far. So we formed a what's it called that the part of the club, a committee where people who are interested in AMR research are currently at. So I've given them a task which they did actually just recently and they submitted. So and then this session is also to cement our knowledge on the research aspect. So we already have topics that we're working on and currently myself and two other persons we've been able to come up with the questionnaires. We're trying to compile them, and then we have a mentor in school who wants to take us through so we can get ethical approval from the school. So we're actively going through the process of making sure that we actually put our hands on research. And yes, and like you've said before, that even if it's just an article, something that along our programs, the events that we do, that's write papers on them, I'll be putting all these things to practice. Thanks so much, sir, for your mentorship once again, and we'll appreciate the session tonight.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Emmanuel. I am, glad and very, very happy to have been invited to come back and to speak with you guys on a very important aspect of antimicrobial resistance, which is research. I'm glad and I really salute, what you guys are doing a very amazing job. You are sitting on a lot of data. My only request is that don't just sit on it, but please make something out of those data that you have. Belumi is asking on the chat, how do I get topics to research on? The truth of the matter is that there is nobody who is going to find a topic and then send it to you and say, Belumi, research on this. Research actually comes as a result of your own inquisitiveness, your own level of curiosity. You want to answer a particular question. You want to answer the why behind why a particular stuff actually, exists. And then again, you also want to maybe do a cap study, the attitude, and the practices of a particular set of individuals on the use of either an antimicrobial agent or something. So your research topic can be on anything. I don't want you to go on Google and then you just go and search for topic that people have proposed. Chances are that somebody must have done it in your own way. Just bring into existence something that is unique to you and to you alone, something that Pelumi is very, very passionate about, and she wants to generate evidence and data about it. She wants to, go out and ask people. She wants to do some lab analysis, or she wants to do a literature review on. It is unique to you and to you alone. The topic can be anything, and it can be what you really want to spend your time on. As Emmanuel said, I wasn't the one that actually sent those topics to you guys to research on. You on your own, you decide to bring it into existence. If you're having challenges on how to bring topics into existence, go on PubMed, go on Google Scholar, and look at works or research that have been done by other people in AMR before. Look at the way they frame their topic, and then pick a one for yourself and then frame it, and then you get busy about it. The cross of the matter is that let what you are spending hours, days, and months and years of your life on, let it be something that is going to add new knowledge to the scientific community. Don't just go and recycle what somebody has done previously. It doesn't make any sense. So please, be novel and be very, very original. Plagiarism is a sin. Honestly speaking, plagiarism is a sin. Don't just go and do agberu agbeso. You copy, you lift someone else's publication. Probably the stuff was written in French, and then you translate it to English and you put your name there. Pelumi Kende. No, that is not your work. You are stealing other people's content. So I encourage you, be novel and be unique. You want to feel your own unique voice and your unique perspective on that which you really want to do. As I step aside, I would like to draw you guys' attention again to the Global Health Network. Emmanuel, you have a lot of medical students behind you. Direct them to the Global Health Network. There are 1,001 professional courses that you guys can take to build yourself. Courses on clinical trials, courses for nurses, courses for early career researchers. And these are not just anyhow kind of courses. These are courses that were done in collaboration with the World Health Organization, with TDR and some other wonderful organizations out there, and they are good. They can help you to start building your profile as an individual, even how to do research, even how to actually do community engagement. We have a hub called Mesh. Mesh is purely for community engagement. You can go there and take courses on how to do community engagement, how to lead people in conversation, and how to generate data from the conversation that you must have had with these guys. And then we have a facility called the Antimicrobial Resistance Connect and Collaborate Map, or the Antimicrobial Resistance Collaborators Map. These are individuals in Africa, in Asia, and in Latin America who have decided to place themselves on the AMR map. It's more like you are placing yourself as a pin on the map, saying, I am from Babcock University and I am open to collaborate with anybody, anyone, anytime, anywhere who really want to do research in AMR. If you need a collaborator, call on me. I'm available. I want you all to go there and pin yourself on the map as potential collaborators on the map, and register on the AMR hub. There are opportunities that we share. There are funding opportunities, short courses opportunity, fellowship, scholarship, conferences, and all of that we share on the AMR hub that can be of immense benefit to you. I'm not trying to run ad for the AMR hub, but I work as graduate assistant of the AMR Knowledge Hub of the Global Health Network. And if I see opportunity that I feel will be of benefit to you, I will not be ashamed to point you guys to that direction. So please, the web link, I can drop it for Emmanuel and he can share with you guys. Go on there, register, go to the main TGHM platform, take courses there, get your certificate as soon as you are done, celebrate your achievements on LinkedIn, tag as many persons as you want to tag, and who knows, it will open up doors for you as an individual. So again, I want to appreciate you all for your time and for catching up. 24 of you from start to finish. This means a whole lot, and it shows that there are persons in Babcock who are very passionate and intentional about antimicrobial resistance. Don't be offended. I will give the recording of this meeting to my team They will clean it up, and it will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. If you feel like going there to see the work that I'm doing, fine. If you don't feel like going there, no problem. If you have your own YouTube channel for Babcock AMR Club, feel free to upload the video there when I send it to you. It is all for good. I'm not being paid for what I do. I do it because I really want to become a mentor to as many persons who want to become researchers, who want to become a voice in helping us to win the fight against the emergence and spread of antimicrobial resistance in various settings. So thank you so very much for having me, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Amarachi, for putting this together, and thank you, Pelumi, for the question, and thank you, everyone, for catching up. It's been amazing, and let's go have a wonderful night rest. Bye for now.